Okie dokie, so oh my god, let me just get some let me grab a tasty glass of water because I am gonna be doing quite a bit of talking, I think. Okay. So welcome to another live stream. I haven't done a live stream in quite some time. But I thought I'd do something a little bit different today. Rather than playing a video game, I have a ton of work to do. So I thought I'd bring up some of the comics and commissions and stuff that I'm working on, that I have worked on, to just show you guys like another side of myself. Because my whole background really is in art. I did a couple years at Seneca doing an art program there. More recently, I did, let's pull up just some sketches. I'm just going to do some warm-up sketches real quick. Zoom in on this guy. So more recently I did a program for graphic design. And I honestly, I am not a huge fan of it. I like graphic design. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Just not for me. It's really all that boils down to. So basically what I'm doing today is I'm working on just a little series that I'm writing. I have no idea when it'll be out. But it's just kind of like a pirate thing. Because if you've seen my Pirates of the Caribbean playthrough, I love pirate stuff. I love musketeer stuff. I used to study like piratology, if that's even a word. And so I decided after seeing, I think it was after seeing like the newest Pirates of the Caribbean movie, the Dead Men Tell No Tales, that'll date this video. I was like, yeah, let's do something crazy and fun and silly and just wacky pirate adventures and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. Let me just quickly show you some other stuff that I'm doing. At the start, you probably saw this one. This was just a Star Trek page that I've been kind of working on. That's with the background. So I still have to add in this ship here. But yeah, I wanted to work on this because I just got this tablet. So I haven't done a ton of actual coloring yet, so that's what this page really is meant to represent, is just me coloring stuff. I've only started shading this Andorian guy here. As you can see, there's a little bit of shading like under the eyes and on the nose and in the hair and stuff like that. I haven't started the Vulcan dude yet. I might do that later today. I don't know when I'm actually going to get around to that, but that's kind of my plan. That's kind of the idea. I'm just going to hide that background layer. I have to kind of fuck around with these backgrounds a little bit more. But just for starters, I'm just going to do some warm-up sketches, have some fun with some stuff. Click, damn it. There we go. And if you guys have any questions or comments or want to know how I do something or whatever, just let me know. Leave me a comment in the section below, or you can message me on our Facebook page. I'm also on Patreon, and you can get that on our YouTube channel as well, at TenderGaming. It's the first. I think there's like 2 channels with the TenderGaming thing, but we're like the first one. I never realized how hard it was to actually make a YouTube like name or channel name, because then you're like, because originally this is a little behind the scenes kind of thing with Saul and myself. We were originally, when we were coming up with names, I think the original name was like, there was like Best Buds, and then there was, it was just a terrible name, and then there was what was the other one? Then we eventually landed on the cooperatives, but then we looked online and there was like 12 channels with the name The Cooperatives, so we're like, ah, fuck, we can't use that shit. So eventually we came up with TenderGaming, and that's kind of my persona, is Tender. And I've explained before why it's Tender. It's a high school nickname for when I was a goalie. It was Joel Tender, then it just became Tender and JTend and all that sort of stuff. So eventually it just became Tender over time. So again, if you do have a question of what I'm doing, or well, let me explain this first, why I'm using this color. This color is just the rough color. It's what I use for, it's called non-photo blue. I don't know if this is the exact color of it because I'm doing this digitally. I actually just got this tablet like maybe a month ago. And you can see here, like, I've done some other, I'll show you some finished work. How's that? So this was, there we go. This is Aaron Hansen, better known as Ego Raptor from Game Grumps and Sequelitis and everything like that. And I just drew this for fun. It was him as Mega Man because he loves, I think it's Mega Man X is like the game that he, according to him, makes his dick rock hard. So I thought, hey, we'll just do something kind of fun and silly. This was a Squirtle Squad thing, Teenage Mutant Ninja Squirtles. Again, just kind of a for funsy kind of thing. This was more just practicing coloring and line weight and stuff like that. Because before this, I did everything traditionally. I used boards and pen and paper and inking and all that sort of fun stuff, which I still do. But the way the world is now, you gotta get on board with the digital kind of mumbo jumbo. So here we go. And this was just a Jack Sparrow that I did. This was, I think this was originally a t-shirt design. And I really like the way it turned out. I just like the composition. It's kind of the Disney Infinity look, which again is a really cool look, and I really like that look. And you can see like down here, this little bar down here is all the different background stuff. So again, you can hide like the layers and stuff like that, and it just makes like coloring and inking really, really simple. So really like that. So let's go back and just keep doing some sketching and stuff like that, just to get loose. You gotta, I believe it's called priming the pump. That's what you gotta do. One of the things that, well, again, going back to kind of my past, we'll give this guy a big bushy mustache. Yeah, going back to kind of my history with art. This will be a little bit more like behind the scenes kind of stuff. Not even behind the scenes, just like my past. Saul and I used to do, when we were in high school together, we did the school newspaper. And again, these here I'll probably end up inking. I'll probably put some like black ink on them as well, just to make them look a little bit more done. I might not do that on camera because I find just right now that takes up like too much time. But yeah, we worked on the school newspaper together, and that's where we kind of came up with this idea of starting a YouTube channel. And it took us quite some time to like finally get everything kind of going. And we actually started like a year or two before we actually put our first video up. Just like life stuff kept getting in the way. Nothing, I'm not going to divulge anything, but things, you know, life happens, right? Life just, you take unexpected turns, and things happen that you were prepared for and were prepared for. So we ended up having to put the show kind of on hiatus for a little bit. And then, yeah, we started kind of doing it up. And unfortunately, we used to live kind of close to one another. But then Saul moved, I moved. So we don't see each other as much as I would like. That's why, like, the cooperative stuff is a little bit more spread out over time. Just because, like, I don't want to burn through all of our stuff really quickly, and that's kind of why I started doing my own solo stuff. I just spat all over this tablet. Was just you know, have some of my own work and my own flavor to the show and to the channel. I know Saul is working on, or is going to be working on, his own solo kind of thing for the show as well, kind of how I do, you know, Tender plays and everything. I keep fucking spitting all over this thing. But anyway, so that's just a little bit behind the scenes stuff. You know, usually it's fun because when we do get together, it's not like we see each other every single day. You know, he's one of my closest friends, obviously. That's why I work with him. And he sends me a lot of scripts for comics and things like that. Actually, you know what? Let me pull up one of the comics that him and I work on. As you can see, I have like a lot of reference stuff in here. Where? Okay, let's pull up the Digimon one. This was, as you can see, I have a ton of lines and shit down on this. Can I hide those, I wonder? I don't know if I can. Can I? I don't think I'm going to be able to. Anyway, so this is one of the Digimon pages that that him and I worked on quite a while ago. I did draw it by hand originally, and then I transferred it over and started inking it and stuff like that. And it was kind of like a Digimon spoof, and this was really the first crack I had at using the tablet. So, I can't remember what this guy's name is, the guy from like the first episode. It's not Kabuterimon. It's something, he's like the big red beetle guy. Anyway, but yeah, I actually really like the way that this turned out, like just the shading on it. And I try not to like toot my own horn too much, because like I know I'm not the world's greatest artist or whatever, but just like the composition I found just turned out pretty good. Like I like the shading on this guy down here, Gabumon's. I'm sorry, I can't remember all the names. And yeah, I don't know, I liked it. I like the way that Agumon here turned out, and it's just kind of a silly thing that him and I worked on. There's a couple pages that I still have to do for it. We started our own other little project as well. Like, I do a lot of just kind of one-off stuff and silly projects and stuff on my own. So, I kind of got that in the works as well. Anyway, let's go back to... This is how I work, by the way. I am very... Tap on the thing, damn it. Damn it, Jim. There we go. Yeah, I'm very, like, sporadic when I work. I have super high ADD, which you could probably tell. So, when I'm working on something, it's very hard for me just to, like, sit and do one thing for any extended period of time, unless it's, like, a commission piece or something like that. Let's have this guy's arm kind of come over here. Okay, perfect. So just the way that I like to design characters. Usually I'll design a character a couple times before I'll land on a design. And that's just, I think that's smart. Never stick with like the first thing that you put down, because you're always going to refine it. You're always going to change things. You're always going to, you know, originally you might go, oh, I really like this or that, but then you'll look at it from a different angle or something, and you're like, ooh, that... I'm not a fan of like his coat or his arm or something like that. So again, you'll just change things, and again, you can even see like really successful characters. I think this guy's head's like too fucking huge. Yeah, this guy's got like a really big head. Hang on, let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this shit. And we will... Okay, we'll extend this over just a little bit. But you see what I mean? Like, I'm going to change things on characters and stuff like that all the time. But you even look at, like, really popular characters and successful characters. Like, you can look at the original, like, designs of, like, Spider-Man, and it's very different. Like, I think the original Jack Kirby had, like, a gun, like it had like a web gun, like it was weird, but again, you just refine it, you keep working on stuff, and you make it look better and better over time. I'm gonna try to not spend too much time just like sketching, but actually showing you guys some work. Okay, we'll give this guy's jacket kind of this kind of doodad thing going down like that. If you've watched my channel before, I have a a video on there. It's a tribute to the late great Darwin Cook, who was one of my biggest inspirations for drawing. I think was or is, or however you want to say it, one of the best comic book artists ever. My big influences, obviously, like, love Jack Kirby, Darwin Cook, huge, Bruce Timm, Jim Lee, so many really great comic book artists and just artists in general. And I know a lot of people who probably grew up in the 90s really like the Bruce Timm stuff because it was kind of everywhere. Batman, Superman, Justice League, all that sort of stuff. It was really all over the place. So, again, just a really good style. And the thing that I find with his style is it's very hard to replicate. Like, a lot of people do it, but there's always, like, it just doesn't have that same style and same look to it, I don't know. You gotta find your own style of doing stuff, and I've done a bunch of stuff in tons of different styles, and I think that's good. As an artist, you gotta expand your mind and try new things and kind of push yourself creatively. Like, there was a period where I drew nothing but, like, things in a Darwin Cook style. And if you don't know who that is, just Google it. He's got tons of stuff. Great, beautiful work. But yeah, there was just a time where I was doing, like, nothing but his kind of style of work. Good, bad, or indifferent. So, yeah, you just got to find kind of your own kind of vibe and style of doing things. So, let's not spend too much more time on this guy here. This is like my Lord character. Hey, this is quite I dare say. And I'll do that from time to time when I'm designing a character or whatever. It's like I'll start talking like what I think that character talks like. And that was one of the interesting things when I was at school. And our teacher, who worked on quite a lot of stuff. He did, I think it was the lead designer on Spawn Comics for a while. He worked on the X-Men, like the 90s X-Men show, the Batman animated series. He did a lot of stuff. And he was telling us the story of sitting down with other artists, and they would have these huge debates of what characters should and should not do, and, like, especially in, like, toy lines, like, why do you give Spider-Man, like, a sword? Like, he doesn't need a sword. It's fucking Spider. Like, they would have these crazy debates. You know how, like, toy lines will come out and it's like Aqua Strike Batman, or like Desert Assault Robin and stuff like so they would have these like huge debates over whether or not that actually made sense. Let's have this guy holding like a glass. Be holding like a martini glass because he's very sophisticated. Super sophisticated, you guys. Oh my god. And I'm not, by the way, I'm not in like any way a speed drawer, because I don't think you should rush your art. That's just me. Unless it's like a quick commission piece or something at like a con or something. That's one thing. But I'm not doing much today. I'm kind of doing this. This guy, there we go. Not a huge fan of where that finger is, but we can change that in post. We'll throw that finger more up here. We'll put this kind of finger down here. Grabbing this one. Yes, it's quite. Yes. May have to change the composition of that or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. And let's have this one. He'll kind of have his pinky out because he's very refined, you see. Yes, quite. Yes. My family made quite a killing in the shrimping industry, you see. Yes, quite. There we go. Good enough. Again, I'll probably change that as we go on. We'll put a little bit of stuff in there. I'll put a little toothpick with the little olive in there. Oh, adorable. It's very, very sophisticated. I'll throw some shading in there. And again, just doing quick stuff like that just gives me the reference of, okay, I'm going to fill this section in with kind of a darker color. And you'll see that, especially when you see comic book pages, like this mouth, a lot of times they'll just put little X's like that. And that just tells you, I'm going to fill that in with like a black, like usually a solid black. Doesn't have to be, but it's just so you don't have to like shade everything in, right? Okay. Well, that's good warm up for now. Let's get into some coloring because this is really what I gotta kind of work on today. So, by the way, I use a tablet, a drawing tablet. I've used a Wacom or Wacom or however you want to say it. I've used one of those in the past. This tablet is called a UG or UGEE. I find it just as good. It's actually a bigger screen. I think this one's like 19 inches. The reason that I use this, for starters, it's a lot less expensive. This all in was like $500. You get the tablet, you get the pen. Yeah, I think you get 2 pens, a bunch of like little nibs for it, like the drawing glove, all sorts of stuff. So really, if you are looking to get into digital art and start designing whatever, if you're a graphic designer or artist or whatever, I recommend one of these because again, it's a lot less expensive than a Wacom, which is like a good one's like $1,500. So save yourself $1,000, get one of these because I don't notice a difference. I actually found weird thing. My Wacom, I can't remember what one. It was like a Cintiq something. It always like overheated, so it would just like shut off. Like, I would be doing stuff, and then it would just, like, turn itself off, because it would, like, otherwise it would have, like, fucking exploded. Okay, so as you can see on the side here, I got a bunch of layers. And again, like, you can see, I can just hide that background layer. This I do have to change, because I want to add, like, a gradient to it. As you can see, like, down here, I just want that to, like, kind of show a darker kind of horizon down here and then make it a little bit lighter up here. So I'm gonna kind of play around with that later. Again, I'm using a really super like ghetto version of Photoshop. This is like Photoshop Essentials like 8. So this thing is old. What am I doing? Who am I gonna ink next? Let's do this guy. Where are you, you son of a bitch? No, wrong guy. Alright, let's shade you and motherfucker. So, I'm going to add a new layer in here. You can see that I don't like name my layers, which is really bad. Shade and door 2. I should. I don't enough, but yeah, that's I don't know. I don't do that a lot, which is bad. You should always name your layers. Or put layers into folders and stuff like that. I'm a very disorganized kind of artist. But, whatever. It doesn't bother me, so whatever. Okay, so... If this is where this guy is... This is the fun part. I actually really like shading stuff and coloring stuff. Because I find it just, like, adds a whole new world. And da-da-da-da-da-da. So you have to think of, like, the light source. Like, where is the light source coming on this guy? So, I'm assuming that the light source is going to be coming from the tricorder a little bit, because it's going to be making its beeps and boops. So I want to kind of have the light hitting this way a little bit. So he's going to have more shading, like, back here. Right? I wouldn't put the shading... Here, I'll show you an example of what I don't want. I don't want to have the shading like this way. And have it like under the nose and whatever. It may actually look good, but I don't think it makes sense. And that's the one thing you gotta remember when you're drawing is like, does this make sense? It's one thing that we always went through at school was like, if I'm designing a character with like big boots or something like that. It's like, will it make sense? Like, does he have buckles on the boots? Does he have, you know, what does he have on his boots to, like, keep them up? Stuff like that. Let's go with... Go down like that. Because I'm assuming that there's going to be shading under here. Or would it be, like, more like a solid? And this is the fun thing about, like, drawing and stuff. It's like, you can just kind of play around with stuff. It's all digital. You can just go back and get rid of stuff if you don't like it. That's the fun part. There's a couple programs that I do want to get eventually. I don't have the money to be dropping mad fat stacks of cash on stuff. Yeah, all right. This video will probably go up on the channel as well. It's not really a drawing tutorial. I would like to start doing more, but I thought, I'm at home working on stuff, so why not just do a little live stream, just for funsies, yo. Uh-oh. See, it is weird because I never did a lot of shading and stuff and coloring on my old work, just because, like, for starters, pens are expensive. Like, good... God, I keep spitting all over my tablet. Good pens are, like, stupid expensive. So, that was a big reason for it. But now that you got this, it's awesome. Let's see. Again, like, does that make sense? Or would it make sense to have maybe the light coming from this way? Because where's the... You know what? Maybe I will do it on the other way. Because if this guy's looking up here, I want the light coming down this way. So it's going to have... Oh, no, I still kind of want to have it coming this way. Because I want to have this side more shaded in. But again, as you can see, I'm using a very, like, rudimentary, rough style of coloring and doing all this sort of stuff. I will... Oops. Still on my eraser. I will eventually, like, I'll refine it all eventually, but this is just to get, like, the basic idea down. Because again, I'm not in any huge rush. I got no deadline with this shit. This is just for me. This is just for me. Yeah, that looks yeah, that looks good. Yeah, oh fuck yeah. Oops. Let's try and shade this off just a little bit more. Yeah, that looks alright. Cool. That's cool, baby. That's cool. And again, if you are getting into art, there's a ton of really good programs out there that you can take. If you are looking just to sharpen up your skills, there's so many, like, art classes and stuff that are available out there. You know, the world, it's a different place for artists nowadays. There's so many, like, good tutorials online, how to do stuff, and how to learn things. I'm kind of an idiot because I kind of don't believe that you need to go to college to learn art. I think you can teach yourself just about anything. If you're willing to learn it, and you have a passion for something. It's like, you know, it's a lot of musicians, right? Like, a lot of musicians just kind of did it. Just picked up a guitar or drum set one day and just were like, fuck it. I'm gonna teach myself how to play Zeppelin tunes or something. Say Zeppelin? Zeppelin. My mouth gets so dry when I'm doing this. So, I mean, you can really teach yourself anything. It's like, you know, one of the guys that I always look up to, and I know a lot of people do, for like an animation standpoint, is really Ego Raptor, Aaron Hansen, where it's like, you know, I watch a lot of Game Grumps. I'm a big fan of theirs, and you know, he kind of talks about having not really like that formal training. You know, his parents took him out of like high school, for Christ's sake, but he wanted to learn something, so he just taught himself how to do something. And now he's one of the more successful people on YouTube. So, I mean, you don't need... I don't think, and again, I'm kind of the contradiction because I did a lot of schooling for stuff, and to some degree I regret it because student loans suck. There we go. Let's just zoom on out of that. Yeah, that looks alright. But yeah, student loans not the most fun thing in the world. Let's just say that. Unless you're going to go to school to be like a doctor or something, then yeah, you probably need to know how to do brain surgery. But for art, it's like, just do it. Just find yourself. You don't need to go to these crazy art colleges necessarily. And there's a ton of stuff online. Like, when you really look into it, it's like, oh shit, like you can take a lot of these courses online for a fraction of the price and still get the same amount of information out of it. And that's just the beauty of the way the world is nowadays. Just add in a little bit of something here, just to give it a little bit more of like some definition and stuff kind of going down into here. That looks alright. Again, I'll probably refine it just a little bit more in a little bit, but again, I don't like to spend too much time on like one character. I like to kind of jump around, just so you don't get stale. You don't get stuck on like one guy. Let me just make sure that this is still going through. Okay, good. It's still recording. All right. All right. Let me just grab a drink here. So again, you can find you can find it on my YouTube channel, on my Facebook page. I'm on Patreon. I'm trying to remember my Patreon account. I think it's just Joel Chamberlain. I'm on DeviantArt as well. God, there's too much. I think it's just JTend on DeviantArt. I'm on too many things. I can't remember all of them. But it's on my Facebook channel. It's on, or Facebook page. It's on the YouTube channel. It's on all that good stuff. All right, let's shade this motherfucker up here. Sorry, I swear a lot. I shouldn't, but I do. All right, where are you? So that's that. Okay, that's that. So I'm gonna add in another layer here. We'll call this Vulcan 1A. Sure, why not? Alright, so, yeah, so if you click on this little guy here, again, this isn't really a tutorial. If you've ever used a computer, you know this shit. And you can just click to sample the color. Now, if I'm shading, I'm going to make the color a little bit darker, but I like to kind of play around a couple times just to find that, like, shade that I like. Because sometimes it'll be like, oh, that's a really good shade, and then I apply it and it looks like shit. So, just got to play around with it. Let's say that. So, let's say that's not bad. It's a little bit too dark, so let's try and lighten that up. That's not bad, actually. It's a little bit subtle. It's a little bit subtle, but I like that. I don't want it to be like this huge blocky kind of shade. So let's use that to start. So we're gonna shade under the nose, and I can expand my brush up here to make it a little bit bigger, so I can fill in more space a little bit easier. Yeah, who doesn't want to look up that Vulcan's nose? Yeah, girl. Are you watching, baby? Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, pick that Vulcan nose. Oh, that is most illogical, Captain. Get your finger out of my nose. Oh, by the way, for those of you who follow my YouTube channel, you've probably noticed that I haven't uploaded a lot of stuff recently. That is strictly because my editing software fucking exploded. And, yeah, so I actually have been without an editing program for a while now. And again, I just haven't had the money really to replace it yet. Oh my god. Oh god. This really dries up my throat. So, I try to do as much as I can, but again, it's a little bit tricky these days. So hopefully I'll have some new editing programs up and running shortly, so that way I can keep on doing my thing for you guys. Because I really do appreciate everybody who watches the show and subscribes to it. It's just fun. It's just fun to do, and that's really kind of what it's all about. That's why Saul and I really started doing it. It was just like we just wanted to do something kind of fun. And eventually, with this page, by the way, I will throw down more than just 2 colors on something, but I try to get down some, like, just the basic, like, dark shades first, just so I can, like, see how things look and refine it later. So that's really all I'm doing right now. So let's just get kind of in his big goofy ears. Who's the best Vulcan character, do you think? Obviously Spock. Why'd I even ask this? Such a stupid thing to say. I'm gonna shake it up. I'm gonna say to Paul, because she's hot as fuck, and I love Trip. And when they find out that their baby dies and Trip cries, I'm not gonna lie, I shed some tears, man. I shed some tears. They just have a really sweet story, and I really like it. And you can tell that they're like into each other like from the get-go. But it's a love that cannot be. So let's darken this up just to do inside of this dude's nostrils just a little bit. Oh yeah, girl. So let's zoom out of that. That looks like he's got like a fucking pig nose. That doesn't look good at all. Because if let's see, if I'm looking up, it wouldn't make sense. Wouldn't make sense to do that, would it? No. Might have to change that. But we'll do that later. We'll do that. I'll fix this shit later. So let's add in just some little kind of creases and stuff here. Why is that not? Why aren't you working? Why have you forsaken me? Why is this not working? Hey, fuck face. Okay, maybe I have to do it on. Oh, okay, there we go. See what I mean by being disorganized? Ha! And again, stuff like this, I can like smudge it out later so it looks a little bit more like natural. But that's okay. So what did we call that one? Vulcan 1A. There we go. All right, so let's do. What are we gonna do next on this guy? Yeah. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna change it up. I'm gonna move on to this dude down here. So. Okay, I think I got it. So again, we're gonna play around with some color, just to make sure that what we're doing looks okay, and I have to do it on the right thing. So that's this guy here. So I'm going to throw it right here. So this guy's name is Graham. 1A. Based off a fellow that I used to work with who also had the name Graham. I find I do that quite a lot. Like I'll base a character on somebody that I've met or that I know. That's actually not a bad color for like that. I'll stick with that for now because why not? Save some time. Again, this is more. I don't think I'm ever gonna publish this or do anything with this. This is just me getting some practice in on how to actually use these tools, because again, I've never. Leave a little bit to be desired there, because yeah, this is like really my first crack at using these tools. So if I'm doing something that looks weird or just kind of fucked up or whatever, it's probably because I don't know what I'm doing yet. You gotta play with it. You gotta play with your tools. Don't take that out of context. That could mean a couple different things. You gotta play with your tools, girl. Let's add in just a little bit of that. Alright, that's alright. That's alright. As you can see, I'm a big Star Trek guy. I'm gonna shake it up a little bit. I like Star Trek way more than I like most sci-fis, i.e. Star Wars. I like Star Wars, don't get me wrong. I like cowboys and wizards in space. I do. I always get into that debate with like my buddies, because like a lot of my friends are Star Wars fans, and I'm like one of the few Star Trek fans. I think Saul's a bigger Trek fan, although he probably won't admit it. Because I always say this. This is my rationale behind this. Do you like your iPad? Do you like your cell phone? Yeah? Okay, Star Trek. You can thank Star Trek later. Whereas, like, what did Star Wars give us? I don't know. Wizards. The Force gave us space magic. Like, I don't know. I always found Star Trek way more believable because it just the world eventually, if it doesn't blow up, if Trump doesn't blow it up first. By the way, I'm Canadian, so I can say kind of that. Then we'll eventually get to Star Trek. Like, the world inevitably will just become Star Trek. Right? Like ships and exploring space and shit like that. We're already sort of doing that. But let's be honest, if you tried to make yourself a lightsaber, you would cut your fucking hand off in like a second. Like, you ever grab one of the toy lightsabers from like Toys R Us and you're playing around with it and you like drop it and catch it in your hand? You would kill yourself in like 3 seconds using one of those things. And don't be like, no, I would have the skill to do it. No, shut up. No, you wouldn't. It's easier to use a phaser. It's just a space gun. You just point it and shoot it, and bam, the Klingons are dead. But yeah, I don't know. Star Wars to me is like far more. It's a space opera. It really is. Star Trek is totally Shakespeare in space, and it absolutely is, and that's fine. And that was the one thing, I think I said this on an episode on the channel, but it's like, I've always loved that Klingons, like, hate humanity. We are inferior, we are weak, but boy do they love our shit. Like, oh god, they love fucking our Shakespeare stuff so much, and it doesn't make any sense. Oh, who's texting me? Oh, it's the wife. Oh, what's up, baby? Wow, I'm professional. So I don't know if that's my 2 cents on the whole situation. Alright, let's get in here. Let's zoom in close on these eyes. These dead eyes. Yes. And we're going to add just a little bit of darkness just under here. Because it just adds, it just makes the eyes pop. Because your eyes are the gateway to your soul. All right, see, it's subtle. It's subtle, but it does just add a little bit of something, right? All right, we are off and running. And again, I'm not in any rush. I'm not gonna like kill myself doing this because it's just for fun. We're just having fun today. That's the whole point. So let's do this guy's hands. So if he's holding it, so it makes sense for kind of the shading to be a little bit more down like this, baby, baby. We'll get this kind of finger under here. Oh yeah. I always thought that if I was did I finish my thought on why Star Trek's better? I don't know. That's just opinion. I know I'll probably get a lot of hate for that, but I don't know. I've always just liked Star Trek better. Wait, which way? I think it's gonna go this way, yeah? That's just me. One of my fondest memories was always watching Star Trek with, my dad or my friends when I was younger. Because when I was younger, Star Trek was really at its, like, peak. Like, TNG was really at its peak. So, I mean, Star Trek shit was everywhere. And then, of course, you had, like, so many other shows coming out at the same time. You had, like, Deep Space Nine was coming out, and Voyager, and then Enterprise. Like, it was just so much, like, Trek overload. It was nuts! Okay, let's ink this guy's thingy. His tunic. Yeah, it's not bad. That's not bad. Oh, that's not bad at all. Yeah. Oh, baby. Just realized this guy kind of reminds me of O'Brien, which isn't a bad thing, because O'Brien is basically your space James Bond. O'Brien, huge hero. Most abused character on Star Trek ever, for no real good reason. But he's basically space James Bond, and I like that about him. I think that's that makes him awesome. Because he just started off, like, when you watch, like, the first season, just O'Brien's just, like, nameless guy. Like, he's just sitting on the bridge. And then eventually he becomes, like, the most important character ever. Not ever, but he's pretty important in the grand scheme of things. Okay. Put a little bit of the darkness. A little bit of the darkness, Batman. Yes. I was born in the darkness. Just put a little bit of shading under here. And again, I'm in no way, shape, or form a, like, professional colorist or anything like that. I'm just trying a bunch of different stuff out just to see kind of what sticks. Because that, my friends, is how you learn. So how does that look? That looks alright. That looks okay. Might change this section up a little bit. But that's okay. But anyway, if you guys have any comments or questions or anything like that, feel free to leave them in the sections below, or you can message me again on Facebook. You can message me on Patreon. You can message me anywhere you want, really. Again, check us out on TenderGaming. Okay, that's cool. That's cool, baby. That's cool. And I will do my best to get back to you. In a very timely fashion. Alright, so here's what we're going to do next. Where's this guy at? I think this guy is... Yeah, so that's this dude. Gotcha. Okay, we're going to put you here. We're going to call this Vol 1A, because I'm super good at naming my things. And we're going to start shading this guy here. But I'm going to take a little bit of a break and grab some lunch, I think. And then I will keep on keeping on. That probably won't make any sense in the continuity if I do put this on YouTube. But I'll be back in a little bit to keep on doing some stuff. I'll probably show some more of my work. I'll probably start throwing some ink on these guys here just to kind of refine them a little bit. So that's the plan. If you like that I'm doing these live streams, again, leave me a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if I do put this on YouTube. Even if I don't, you can go over to the channel on YouTube, which is awesome. And, yeah, if you have any questions or comments, or if you want me to draw something, leave me a message. I will do my best to do it in a quick fashion. I do have a lot of stuff that I'm doing right now, but I will do my best to do it as fast as I can for you. Okay, so I don't know why it's not letting me click on these guys here. Anyway, whatever. Until I see you guys again, thanks for watching. I'll be back at some point today. Probably, it doesn't matter because whatever. So I'll be back. Thanks again for watching. Again, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all on the very next live stream and hopefully on the very next episode of Tender Gaming when Tender plays more shit.